Hi, you guys. It's Elizabeth from Elizabeth's Oracle. Welcome if you are new, and welcome back if you are a regular. Thank you very much for joining me today. We are going to talk about the sun through the fixed Earth sign of Taurus for 2017, what that season is, and some of my interpretations for the planetary combination. So here are the start times for each section. I hope that you enjoy, and thank you again for tuning in. All right, so I have in the middle of a Mercury retrograde some new software and a new computer. So if you see me looking off to the side because I'm looking at a monitor with some charts on it, so just bear with me as I get used to the new system. And because this is Taurus, we're going to keep it simple. You know, Taurus is the second sign of astrology. It is symbolized by the bull, who is a very placid creature unless you annoy him. um, this season represents the grounding of spring energies. Aries is all that combustible energy, getting everything started. And Taurus is when we settle in the middle of any season is when we have our fixed signs. So we really, get the full on essence of that season. And this time it's fixed earth, which really resonates nicely with the idea of spring here. Now, all of that being said, we're actually not going to get a lot of help for the sun in Taurus from the other planets. And what I mean by that is we're going to have Mars there for a couple of days before it moves on into Gemini. And then we're going to have Mercury slip right back the day after the sun goes into Taurus. Mercury's going to slip right back into Aries and spend most of the cycle in Aries, retrograde till the 3rd of May. Then when it starts moving forward again, it takes up till the 15th, 16th, depending on your time zone to get back into Taurus. So, that and a new moon in Taurus is, pretty much all we have. A little Mars, a little Mercury, and a new moon. And so the sun's really holding that energy. That having been said, let's walk through 4 charts, and I'm going to explain kind of my take on the overall energies that are coming up. Okay, so this is when the sun enters Taurus, and so you're going to see everything in all the charts. In this particular chart, that top right hand corner has all the planets in green. Those are in Taurus. You're going to see green representing the Taurus energy wherever it shows up in the particular chart. Now, next to it, when this season starts, all you see is Uranus there in Aries in the blue. And I've put all the cardinal energies in the blue. So you see across from Uranus, Jupiter, of course, in Libra, and we see Capricorn 90 degrees away from them, or sorry, Pluto in Capricorn 90 degrees away. And in the purple, you see the mutable energies. So I want you to notice this. When the cycle starts, it kind of looks like, oh, yay, we're kind of out of all that intense Aries energy. Well, no, I mean, Uranus is huge. You guys all know that. But Venus is back there in Pisces getting ready to come back in to Aries. Remember, she was retrograde during the Aries cycle and only turned direct on the 15th of April. So Venus is getting ready to, start stirring things up again and enlivening all the energy that is in Aries, which of course trines or excites the energy of Saturn over there in the mutable signs in Sagittarius. So Sagittarius is our mutable fire sign, so it gets stimulated in a couple of ways. Trining from the Aries planets, and then when we have things head into Leo, which I'll tell you about in a second, but also forming squares. As you guys all know, we've been through this incredible period, that I kind of go back to since 2015, autumn of 2015, when Jupiter moved into Virgo. We went through that long transit for a year, but Saturn moved into Sagittarius. So again, we still have some vestiges of this, but we are going to make an important shift this cycle, and I kind of want to show you that. But just so you can follow along to the charts, your purples are mutable. That bright blue that I have highlighted are your cardinals, and your greens are Taurus. So let's look at the next one for you. This is our new moon. When we get to this new moon, again, if you are into setting intentions with the new moons, this is a great new moon, you know, in terms of Taurus energy. These are the things that will have stamina, longevity, and patience, dare I say the word, during a Mercury retrograde. But yeah, you can see that in this chart, you know, we've got the moon there. Mars, you see in the purple now because it's already moved into Gemini. I told you that would be happening really early in the cycle. So that sets up a square, a building square. As it moves to Gemini, it will ultimately square Neptune. So that's another energy that's kind of contentious in a weird way about clearing and releasing. But on this new moon, you can set some intention for the Taurus things that you want to bring in. This is a really grounding energy, puts us in touch with our five senses, and the more sensual side of life. Next chart, again, I'm not going to go through a ton of charts this time because I'm trying to just help you guys stay focused, but this is the big one. To me, there are two busy times during this cycle. There are that beginning of the cycle, and then there's the midway, the full moon. And I love this full moon every year because it's a full moon in Scorpio, and I love all things Scorpio. So we also I want you to notice on this chart you have some new things highlighted in yellow. And wow, drum roll please, we finally have some fixed energy. One that I think is the most important during this cycle are the nodes of the moon, what is highlighted in this chart in the yellow, because I feel like that's really, really important. We've been through, you guys all know, we've been through mutable, release, clear, and we've started to see the excitement of things moving to all that cardinal energy, which we have an abundance of in this chart. Look at everything in Aries. But what we haven't had is the fixed energy, the energy that just, you know, grounds it. It's been a little rough going through all the mutables. I just think of all the great musicians who died last year and just so much loss, so much clearing out of energies. And we've started to, you know, get some new stuff coming online, but that can be a little intimidating too, because you're like, it's new. I'm definitely ready to be into some new stuff, but yet we don't feel grounded. There's a lot of uncertainty with it. Well, I really feel like the nodal shift, these are the nodes of the moon now moving out of that Virgo Pisces thing into the Leo Aquarius. And you can say that the other way around. We're basically talking about the South Node in Pisces during the cycle, right the day before the full moon, sliding back into Aquarius. And then we're talking about the North Node, which is always opposite, directly opposite of the South, slipping from Virgo and all that perfectionist but mutable energy. Again, something that's been a player in all the loss, grief, clearing, healing stuff, which is, you know, we needed to clean stuff out, but it can be a little exhausting. So another big part of this year, and something I had pointed out from the beginning of the year, was the nodal shift. So that North Node goes into Leo, and again, on the nodes, the important thing, I want you guys to sort of download this because we're going to have this in effect for the next 18 months. So you just really get to think about, how do I want to use it? So overall, it's offering all of us some fixed energy that will stay, even as, you know, everything will move on to Gemini and, you know, all that more mutable energy. We're starting to get some stuff anchored in, and that can help people feel a little more stable, a little like things are more consistent, more reliable. And, you know, we're still, again, getting the new coming online. So I think that, you know, again, I think this is extremely helpful. And I like that we have it's not such an overemphasis on one area where we just had mutable for so long. And then again, we had the cardinal cheering us up, cheering us on, but we have the mutable now. We have the fix now, allowing us to stabilize things and to sort of look forward. And the nodes are in this place for the next 18 months. And by then, Uranus will be in Taurus, adding some more. That's about a year from now. So again, I see this as a good thing. And then you're like a real quick explainer on the meaning of the nodes. The south represents lessons and skill sets we already have mastered. And it's always a good idea to check them in your charts. And maybe I'll run a special on a little down the road. But the north is what we're needing to integrate, what we're needing to bring in more of. And of course, you look at your own chart and where your personal south and north nodes are. But when it happens on a collective level, this is something that we're all going through to some extent. So we look to Leo and we go, what does Leo represent? Well, a lot of things: courage, leadership, but more fun than all that, it represents playtime and creativity. It's like where all the great, ideas can come from, just spontaneously through playing and relaxing. Or at least if we relax a little more and have some recreation, then we're rested up. And when we get back to our work, we totally have a new perspective because we're not just running on fumes. So the Leo is the playful part. It will be encouraging a lot of socializing, but it's asking us, this nodal thing, I think, is asking us to kind of abandon groupthink. Over the last year, we've all gotten into different sides, factions, groups, and that would be a very Aquarian part of it, even though that isn't where the nodes were. My sense is that now we're ready to go, okay, I've assimilated that stuff. Now I'm ready to do my individual thing and, just have fun, take center stage, and use my creativity and my creative expression in my work. So again, that's just a little, I'll be talking more about the nodes as we move through everything, but I want to really point out how that nodal shift brings an air aspect from Aquarius and a fire thing that's going to work very nicely both with Uranus and with Saturn, who are in the other sister fire signs. And that brings me to chart number 4 here, getting an exact trine with Uranus that I talked about in last month's video, and Saturn. And so we go, well, what does that mean? And so my interpretation of that is, Uranus is very disruptive and it just wants to turn over the apple cart. And that's great when things are just old and stale. We need to freshen it up, liven it up. And Aries, hey, it's always it's always going to be a live wire. However, if you've ever been shocked, you know that grounding is a good thing. So that's Saturn's job, and it's in Sag, so it's still enthusiastic, but this is a more measured or tempered enthusiasm. It says ground that cord, like so you don't blow up the whole house or fry the whole electricity panel, because we're gonna have a lot when you see Mercury going back and forth through Aries this cycle. It's going to have 2 exact conjunctions with Uranus. Again, see last month's video for an explainer on that. But we are going to have a lot of excitement still in this cycle, so it's not going to feel as Taurus as usual. And then, the whole cycle is kind of building up to this big moment of Saturn and Uranus. Again, every time we have big outer planet energies collide, it's pretty strong. And like I said, in the background, there's going to be, Mars making that square to Neptune. You can kind of see how close in the angles, they are to that 90-degree point, even still in this chart. So we're coming through quite a mixed bag in this cycle. A lot of cardinal, finally bringing in some fixed that will actually be part of the building eclipse in August, total eclipse in Leo, and all that fire energy. So we're getting a lot of fire. Represents purification, transmutation, but also it's just ignition. It is that pure energy of spirit, of enthusiasm. And I think in Leo, it's really going to encourage us to go play and get out there and enjoy. So I'm going to leave you guys with that because, like I said, I'm editing on new software and I'm not sure. Looks like my face is kind of like going out of the center of the camera, but whatever. It's all good. So let's get to the resources. Okay, so I am Elizabeth from Elizabeth's Oracle. Here is my YouTube special. If you'd like a reading and have your chart done, just get in touch with me over at Elizabeth's Oracle. For new customers, you get 5 free minutes with any order. And I also do a show with my friend Kristy. We go over the astrology of the cycle, and I'm able to touch on some things that I may not be able to get to in the video. That's on Blog Talk, Kristy's Connection to the Soul. And Kristy gives angel messages. These are really wonderful, channeled messages from the angels and so helpful in this time of spring here in the northern hemisphere when we're outside seeing all the winged creatures grounding in the earth and just being reminded of how much abundance, how much peace really are available to us at any time. So great time of the year for tuning into that. But Kristy and I would love you to join us and catch that either live or it's archived so you can listen anytime. I have a free newsletter that you can sign up to, and your information is always respected. So again, feel free to pop over, and if you'd like to give a thumbs up to the video or subscribe, but that's basically the spiel. So I thank you so much for watching and tuning in, and thank you to the clients that I've been talking to during the last month who have been saying that the videos are helpful and you're learning. So that's awesome. And we will see you when the sun joins Mars in Gemini.